We're gonna call this game. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I do not know what this game could even be classified under because, my goodness. And from this position, well, no, this position can't stop making one. But all of this was forced, and after here, he resigns. Well, no, after this, he resigns because I don't think. Yeah, you literally cannot stop mate in one. We're gonna talk about this game because I think this is a game that if you're struggling to understand it and coming from somebody who struggles to understand it, only 350. This game, you kind of see how you can put it together. This was tactically just very, very sound from your boy. So, I've been playing in London. Um, London is D4, Bishop C4, uh, Knight C3. And then from there, get into what you want. He plays Bishop. Um, he plays Bishop C5, targeting this. In the opening, you don't really need to worry. You can continue to develop because there's no threat on that square. He'll lose the bishop if he takes. Um, that's what I do. But I immediately think to myself, and trying to mirror, and it's even a variation in chess. Like it has mirror in the name. Um, but it's in theory, um, mirroring your opponent with the black pieces, and that's exactly what I thought he was trying to do. Because you see, the position looks pretty symmetrical. I think that's what it's called, symmetrical variation, not mirror variation. I apologize. Um, but it looks pretty symmetrical. You see bishop, knights, pawns, knights, and then pawns. Like it's literally a symmetrical position. So here I'm like, okay, um, let me take advantage of that because the only advantage you have when you get into a symmetrical position as white is that you have the initiative of being able to go first. So I think, okay, he kind of made a mistake with knight f, yeah, with no knight c6, and the mistake is you really would rather have your pawn out in front of this knight because it'll open up bishop b5. And bishop b5, the main point other than this pin is to, if you attack me, I'm just going to take and you're in check, so you have to take and double your pawns. Well, I mean, you don't have to take. You can do something. You can do something idiotic and lose your queen, but it forces that trade. Then he plays a move that I could not for the life of me understand. Um, Bishop e4. Bishop e4 does block this because another way to play the London is instead of playing bishop e5, you play here to gear up for e6. But I couldn't play that here because of this. So I was not. That's why I played bishop b5 anyway, because I didn't have e6 because one of my defenders of the square that I usually go to defend could defend the square because he took that initiative of guarding this diagonal. So bishop b5. Um, he goes e4. I actually wonder. Let's check. I rarely like actually do this, but I kind of do want to see what the engine will say about. Also, it's saying ignore and go 95. So cruel and unforgiving the computer can be. Anywho, um, life goes on, I guess. So I play queen. queen d2, you know, and the eval bar shoots down because the computer has no emotion and thinks we're soulless cretins just swimming around in this ocean of a planet. But this is where I knew he was trying to mirror me because he goes bishop b4. The irony of that move is definitely not lost on me. Bishop b4 is designed exclusively for the same reason this is, to pin the king to the knight. But, and I think this was actually, and again, this is actually a tactically sound move by him because I moved my queen, meaning I'm not indicating which way I'm castling, you see? Which is probably why the eval might have shot down, but, I digress, it's life. Um, but I haven't indicated which way I'm going to castle because I just moved my queen, so now I can castle either way. Meaning this move is actually pretty sound because if, let's say we get into something like this, takes, and then I castle this way, yeah, I'm not getting back ring mated because I can always get my king out, either this or this, but also I got very terrible structure instead of um, castling long. Oh wait, I can't castle long right now, but you get my point. Castling long and then playing like a move like here or here, where my structure still is fine, and I've castled too, so my king is out of the center. Um, so there, I waste no time. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to take the initiative because he's clearly trying to mirror, and he takes back, which is fine. But now I know either he's gonna castle short with me, which is fine because that means I castle first and I get the first real initiative move because this is all still prep and theory and whatever. Well, I'm gonna say prep for higher level players. At this level we don't really have much prep. We kind of have ideas that we go to consistently and that we can kind of rely on to get us to a position we know. But life goes on, so I castle. He takes on c2, and I was hoping, praying to the chess gods as a disciple myself that he did not play this move. But for what reason, I couldn't tell you. He takes and loses his bishop for a pawn. This is terrible. And to top it all off now there is some novelty to castling short, and the only novelty is now your king is on a light square, but my light square bishop is gone. And the only other problem is your light square bishop is also gone. However, let's be honest, he is on the light square with the pawns. So there is really not much novelty in my position right now, other than the fact that I am up a bishop, which when I'm only down one pawn is kind of fine. So he then blunders the knight because I don't know if he forgot that this pin does not do anything now because I've already castled. Which, if we go back to this bishop takes on c6, we go back to takes on c6. Yep. The reason this move took back my initiative that I had. Wait. Oh no, this is the variation. This is not. I don't think I took on c6 yet. Yeah. I took on c6 after he goes bishop b4. But the novelty in this move is now, since he's in check, he can't just do the same to me. He can't just do the same to me because his king either has to move or he has to take this piece. So now, once he takes, that is why I castled, because now there's no reason for him to take and double my pawns because I'm not even on that side of the board anyway. And he didn't even castle queenside. Well, you don't want to castle queenside. It's so many tactical reasons and justifications to taking on c6 and doubling the pawns. especially when playing as white. It's just very good. But standard 300 elo stuff. Blunders a bishop, blunders a knight because I don't have to worry about this diagonal at all. Like there's nothing even in the way of this bishop. This dark square bishop is pretty terrible, if we're being honest. Mine is not the greatest, but I got it out, and it is at least attacking this pawn, but it's defended, so it's no biggie right now. He takes, which is fair, but now the problem is by taking. Remember that pawn he was up? He's no longer up that pawn, meaning the position is completely equal, other than the fact he doesn't have any knight on the board. Slash, you're down a piece, right? He castles. And another problem with this is you got my queen activated, sniping all types of pieces. Both of these, well, no. One of these pawns are not protected, and it's your rook pawn, meaning if I were to even take this pawn with check, you would lose your rook, but not right now because the queen's defending. Um, but also, I was already on the king side, meaning a simple knight here threatening mate in one was like completely in order. And this is what I'm talking about when you have these tactics like on taking on b6, pretty much forcing the king to castle this way. And I've already castled that way too. Regardless of these blunders, it's just very sound because you get these simple one move tactics that if he doesn't guard properly, that's just checkmate in the corner. You can't take this. You can't take this queen. Nice defending, and the king literally has nowhere to go. He spots it, luckily. Um, but here the position is completely not only exploded, but it's just a completely dominant position for white. Uh, and you can still give this check. There is really like zero novelty because you give this check, you're not winning any material. So I'm thinking, let's just bring the rook. Let's play standard chess. He kicks my knight out, and from here it's actually mate in three. I am a shitball chess player though, so I miss mate in three. Is it takes? Yeah, I was about to say it's not takes. It's definitely not takes. I don't know. I'll have to analyze that. Um, no, that's not what was. Whoops. That was not what was played. Let's get back to where we was at. Yeah, he plays queen d7. Fair move. Wait. He played queen d7? No, he didn't. Right. I don't know where queen d7 came from. Oh, I think that was to make my point. Sorry. I get distracted sometimes. But I actually do take. Or do I? Yes, I do take. I honestly couldn't justify to you why. Um, I just knew that this piece was defended, and I knew that the position was so bad that it was all bad. And then he completely blunders this simple tactic in which once I take, either your queen has to move or you lose your queen. And he completely. Oh wait, no, he does spot it. He does spot it. I'm getting these games mixed up. I've played so many games today that these positions look so similar. But anywho, um, I take to open up the file. He was actually smart enough to recognize that that's not sound. And this is actually a great move because not only did I open up the file for the rook, I opened it up. I opened up the rank for the queen, meaning uh, if he didn't guard this right, say he went somewhere like this, I would just take the bishop, which is again completely winning because at this point the position is so explosive for white that there's not nothing that can be done. Um, so he guards pretty much all of the main threats. So I'm like, okay, let me pose another threat. Um, and here this is just again this is plus 10 for white. it's pretty much game over. He takes to try to open something up. Um, um, Taking is not the worst in the world, but you would lose that piece that you was up, so it's pointless. So I think, okay, I'm gonna attack the queen, and the queen doesn't really have much where nowhere else to go. Actually, I don't even know. Could have went here. Yeah, I think here would have prolonged the game. Mate is on the board though because this position is so godforsakenly bad. Because here is scary because that pawn cannot take. So you would have to sack your queen. I think. I believe here. Yeah, you sack, and it's just completely losing, like completely losing. But that is not what happens. What happens is he goes queen d6, which completely loses your queen because my rook was laser beaming. Laser beaming. Um, and I'm fine with giving up rook for a queen when I am up a queen that is keeping your rook out the game. So from here, this was solely to set up maiden one. Does he resign? I don't think he resigns. Actually, he might have resigned. I can't remember. Again, the games is blurry. Um, but this was solely to set up maiden one because if he does not, like, say he's scared to lose this rook, this is just maiden one in a corner. Your king is completely smothered. All the squares of the king is cut off, and the bishop defends the queen. Dark square bishop, might I add, which is quite instructive. But wait, he missed it? Oh yeah, he missed it. I thought he resigned, but no, he completely missed maiden one in the corner. Um, and that's the game. The end of the game. Tactics all over the place, and it starts with taking on B6 or yeah, taking on C6. Sorry, I keep saying B6, don't I? But taking on B6, it means the king has to commit itself to same side castling, which will always benefit white when once white has like developed all of the pieces and played sound chess. As long as you play sound chess, same side castling is pretty much a guaranteed storm, especially when you're playing against an opponent that makes mistakes, which we all do. It's life. So, uh, but yeah, I mean, it's not much else to say about this game other than the tactical advantage is just an advantage, no matter what level you're playing at. Get out of here.